used to think I had my diet all figured out. Every morning, like clockwork, I'd reach into the same glass jar on my kitchen shelf and grab a handful of mixed nuts. My smart snack, I called it. I believed I was doing everything right. No chips, no sugar, just heart-healthy, protein-packed nuts. But then, something strange started happening. I was more tired than usual. My joints ached more. My blood pressure, which had been stable for years, started creeping up. I even noticed a weird metallic taste in my mouth that wouldn't go away for days. I chalked it up to aging, until one day during a routine checkup, my doctor raised an eyebrow. "You've got some inflammation markers we didn't expect," he said. "Have you changed your diet recently?" I hadn't. At least not consciously. But that simple question led me down a rabbit hole, and what I discovered absolutely stunned me. Turns out, not all nuts are created equal, especially after age 65. Some can truly heal, while others quietly harm, even if they're sitting in your healthy snack jar right now. Let me walk you through what I wish I'd known sooner. The 4 nuts that saved my health. Almonds, the bone-strengthening powerhouse. The first thing I added to my routine were almonds, raw, skin on, unsalted. I didn't realize how much calcium and magnesium they pack, 2 minerals that actually help each other absorb better. My bones needed the boost, especially after my neighbor fell and fractured her hip. Even better, the vitamin E in almonds helped clear up the foggy-headed feeling I'd been blaming on just getting older. And the fiber? Let's just say it solved a very common senior problem. You know what I mean. Walnuts, the brain booster. Then came walnuts, oddly shaped like little brains, and it turns out they're good for yours. I started eating a few in the evening and noticed I was sleeping better. Later, I learned that walnuts contain melatonin and omega-3s that actually protect brain cells. After just a few weeks, I felt sharper, more mentally agile. A study I came across said walnuts might slow cognitive decline, and honestly, I believe it. My crossword. Time started improving. My grandkids noticed I was remembering things better. That alone was worth it. Pistachios, the blood pressure regulator. Now here's a nut that surprised me. Pistachios. Not only are they fun to crack open and a great hand exercise, but they're loaded with potassium. I'd always thought bananas were the go-to, but these little green gems pack a punch. And without the sugar. My blood pressure? It went from borderline high back to normal within a few weeks. And the added bonus? They're one of the few nuts that protect your eyes. 2, which really matters when you're trying to keep your independence as you age. Brazil nuts, the thyroid healer, but the nut that impressed me the most, and still feels like nature's secret medicine, is the Brazil nut. Just 1 a day. Gives me more than enough selenium, which supports my thyroid, helps with energy, mood, and even nerve health. I felt it. Within days, my sluggish mornings improved. I felt steadier on my feet. And after a month, no more brain fog. Just don't overdo it. 1 to 2 is plenty. Any more can be too much of a good thing. But just as I was discovering these healing nuts, I learned something else. Something unsettling. The 4 nuts I had to stop eating, one almost sent me to the ER. 4. Peanuts. The inflammatory trigger? Here's the shocker. The nut I was eating the most turned out not to be a nut at all. Peanuts are legumes. And worse, they're prone to mold that produces aflatoxins, compounds that can harm the liver and trigger inflammation. I didn't have a peanut allergy, but I did have constant joint aches, skin flare-ups, and a blood thinner interaction that no one warned me about. Once I cut them out, the difference was startling. Cashews, the sugar spike in disguise. Then there were cashews. They taste amazing, too amazing, but they're surprisingly high in carbs and can spike blood sugar, a big no-no for anyone watching their glucose, like me. Worse, they contain oxalates that block calcium absorption, exactly what you don't want when you're trying to keep your bones strong. I'd been snacking on them by the handful, thinking I was being healthy. I had no idea I was setting myself up for trouble. Macadamia nuts. The caloric bomb ever had macadamia nuts. They're rich, buttery, and taste luxurious. But here's the catch. They're one of the most calorie-dense foods out there. Over 200 calories per ounce. My weight had been creeping up, and I couldn't figure out why. Turns out, those tiny handfuls added up fast. Plus, they're high in saturated fat, which can sneakily affect cholesterol in older adults. Delicious? Yes, daily staple, not anymore. 1. Pine nuts. The dangerous surprise. Now, the nut that scared me the most. Pine nuts. One day, after a pesto-heavy meal, I developed a bizarre, bitter, metallic taste that wouldn't go away. It lasted nearly 2 weeks. I thought I was losing my mind. Turns out it was pine mouth, a reaction that hits some people harder than others, especially seniors. Even worse, pine nuts can interact with common medications, from blood pressure meds to antidepressants. And no one tells you that, not your pharmacist, not your doctor, but it's real, and it can mess with your treatment. Looking back, the switch I made from harmful to healing nuts was one of the simplest and most powerful changes I've made in my 60s. And the best part? It didn't take a special diet, expensive pills, or a drastic lifestyle change. Just knowing what to reach for and what to leave in the back of the cabinet changed everything. If you're over 65 or care about someone who is, take a good look at what's in your snack jar, because sometimes the smallest foods make the biggest difference. So now I'm curious. Have you ever noticed a change in your health after eating certain nuts? Let me know in the comments.